Let's start off with the Longines Elegance DolceVita. So big thanks to Exquisite Timepieces, Naples, Florida, for sending over some of the coolest watches that I get my hands on. And this one here is, again, I mentioned it in the unboxing, not something that you'll typically see on my wrist, but that's the case for a lot of watches I get on the channel. I just want to see them, I want to video them, and it might help somebody that's looking at getting one of these. There's a lot to choose from Longines in this case style, the tank or rectangle case. And this is more of a larger size one, so it'll definitely work on a man's wrist. And I'll show you that later on as we do the wrist check. There is no lume on this, so we're not going to do that. But we'll definitely take some close-ups here, and we're going to talk about the size. So let's get into the size. I measure the case. It's weird too, because on Exquisite's website, it does say that it's 27 millimeter, but I measure at 27.9. So it's really closer to 28 millimeter on the width. And then the lug to lug is a 43.8. So that's kind of like, again, those are both smaller sizes, but as soon as you go square or rectangle, you really need to like watch those sizes, and Longines definitely nailed it on the size of this thing. So the thickness is 10.3 millimeter. Check out that curve and contour on that sapphire crystal. That's really cool. And then you have a 19 millimeter lug opening here. And I peeled off a little bit of plastic on this bracelet. Check how jewelry-like that bracelet is. And I think that's fitting for this style of watch, because this is definitely, you know, more elegant. Well, it is part of the Elegance line, but it's definitely more jewelry-like. And so that's nice that they kept it all uniform. And then the crown is a signed push-pull crown at 6.5 millimeter. Check it out, there's no traction on this thing. I tried to hand wind it. You can hand wind it, but it is not easy. So yeah, I don't know if this is something, if you have a winder and this is a watch that you don't wear a ton, might want to throw it on the winder, just keep it going. That way you're just pulling the crown out to adjust the time and the date and stuff like that. That part's easy. Once you pop it out, like you have like, I don't know, more ability to like grab it or something. Like that part's not bad, but like to hand wind it, it's a polished hard surface with no traction on it. So, but it really works on this case. Like, I don't know, maybe a little bit of traction would have been nice, but it looks great the way it is. There's only 30 meter water resist on this, but when you put this on your wrist, listen, you're not going swimming. You might get caught in the rain and you might have to wash your hands, hopefully. But you're not going to be doing the dishes or going swimming or something like that with this thing on your wrist. You've got different plans. That's not what you're doing with this watch. Inside this watch is what Longines calls the caliber L592. What it actually is, because Longines falls under the Swatch group, it is an ETA A20.L11. 22 joules, 40-hour power reserve, and it beats at 4 hertz. You can see that clean sweep of that seconds hand. And you do have the date just above the 6. So pretty clean dial, easy to read. Here's a look at the case back. I know there's a sticker on there, but you still get a good look at it. It has split pins on the bracelet too. But again, I've mentioned this many times. I've never had a problem with split pins. And once you get this thing sized, you're done. Like, you're not going to change it. And it has a butterfly clasp. So hopefully I got enough close-ups there for you guys. Beautiful colorway on this, kind of like an off-white on the perimeter and in the center, and then more of a silvery tone around where the 12, 3, 6, 9 are printed at the Arabics, and then a really nice railroad track, and then that chemical or thermal blued. I'm not sure how they blew their hands, but they're very clean and very legible and very fitting for this style watch. Now let's put it on my 7.25 inch wrist so you can see how this works, because yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 27, or we'll just say 28 by nearly 44 millimeter. That's the correct size for a watch like this. If you go much larger and it's too big. So you got to really think about that, and it's helpful if you can go try some of these watches on. And it's the same thing for like the ladies' watches. They're smaller and more elegant and stuff like that, But there's a reason why they're really, really small watches, and then they have like the medium size, and then they go to the XL, because they kind of present a little bit larger on wrist, a little bit narrower, more like a bracelet. So it has that nice clean look to it. And like I said before, it's kind of more jewelry-ish. Just a really good, elegant looking watch. So thanks for watching, guys. Reach out to my guy, Tyler. Link in the description. I'll see you on the next vid.